The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrhomescout.com. rsrhomescout.com. One of my favorite services. Why do I love rsrhomescout.com? Because I'm giving it to you for free. Go on there. The very first tab on there will let you shop for a house. You put in any one of the parameters that you want on there. About 97% of the entire United States is represented on there. So while you may live in Anaheim Hills or Villa Park or wherever, the Home Scout knows about Villa Park, Illinois.
Yes.
So you can actually get that information there too. Why today's housing inventory proves the market is not headed for a crash. Easy for me to say. Maybe it's not so easy for me to say, but I try to say it anyway. But let's take a look and see why that is happening, what's going on. Let's see, I'm trying to get a report here for when I talk to Carla in a minute, but why today's housing is not headed for a crash. Whether or not you owned a home in 2008, you likely remember the housing crash that took place back then, and news about an economic slowdown happening today may bring all those concerns back to the surface. If you watch our program on a regular basis, usually right after the 10th of the month, we have the millennial and the old man segment, and we do a program there. Millennials only remember one recession, and that's 2008, and that's the recession that was caused by housing. It was not housing didn't go down because of the recession. The recession was caused by housing. They don't get that because they don't have a point of reference. So whether or not you owned a home in 2008, you likely remember the housing crash that took place back then, and news about an economic slowdown happening today may bring all those concerns back to the surface. While those feelings are understandable, data can help reassure you the situation today is nothing like it was in 2008. One of the key reasons why the market won't crash this time is the current undersupply of inventory. Housing supply comes from three key places: current homeowners putting their homes up for sale, newly built homes coming onto the market, distressed properties, short sales, or foreclosures. For the market to crash, you'd have to make a case for an oversupply of inventory headed to the market. And the numbers just don't support that. So here's a deeper look at where inventory is coming from today to help prove why the housing market is not headed for a crash. Current homeowners putting their homes up for sale. Even though housing supply is increasing this year, there's still a limited number of existing homes available. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you're seeing a graph. Josh just put it up based on the latest weekly data. Inventory is up 27.8% compared to the same week last year. But compared to the same week in 2019, it's down 42.6%. Inventory is still historically low. So what does this mean? There simply aren't enough homes on the market to cause prices to crash. There would need to be a flood of people getting ready to sell their houses in order to tip the scales toward a buyer's market, and that level of activity simply is not there. There's a lot of talk. Newly built homes coming onto the market. There's a lot of talk about what's happening with newly built homes today, and that may make you wonder if we're overbuilding. But home builders are actually slowing down their production right now. Ali Wolf, chief economist at Zonda, quote, "It's become a very competitive market for home builders where they are trying to offload any standing inventory," unquote. To avoid repeating the overbuilding that happened leading up to the housing crisis, builders are reacting to higher mortgage rates and softening buyer demand by slowing down their work. It's a sign they're being intentional about not overbuilding homes like they did during the bubble. And according to the latest data from the U.S. Census, at today's current pace, we're headed to build a seasonally adjusted annual rate of about 1.4 million. I gave you all those numbers yesterday. That is a misleading number because only about 20% of those are going to come to market. They're not ready for sale. Distressed properties, short sales, or foreclosures. The last place inventory can come from is distressed properties, including short sales and foreclosures. Back in the housing crisis, there was a flood of foreclosures due to lending standards that allowed many people to secure a home loan they couldn't truly afford. Today, lending standards are much tighter, resulting in more qualified buyers. Data from Adam Data Solutions on properties with foreclosure filings to help paint the picture of how things have changed since the crash. Again, another graph that Josh is showing you. The graph shows how in time around the housing crash, there were over 1 million foreclosure filings per year. As lending standards tightened since then, the activity started to decline. In 2020, 2021, the forbearance program was a further aid to help prevent a repeat of the waves of foreclosures we saw back then. That program was a game changer, giving homeowners options for things like loan deferrals and modifications, and they got a lot of equity. Don't foreclose, don't short sale. Call your local real estate professional and have them help you, have them figure this out. Bottom line, although housing supply is growing this year, the market certainly is not anywhere near inventory levels that would cause prices to drop significantly. That's why inventory tells us the housing market will not crash. And if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or borrow on real estate, can I count on you to introduce us?
Yeah.
800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. That's the real-time real estate segment. Again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com.